Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Council of Ministers confirms to keep the same number of scholarship seats allocated for graduates of General Diploma for the next academic year. The Council of Ministers emphasizes that the Sultanate is secured food-wise and approves a national policy document for disease prevention. The Council of Ministers approved general framework of Omani tourism strategy. The Council of Ministers approves forming a committee to study challenges of Omani media, agrees to establish an information training center and a study to set up e-media center. And the Supreme Council for Planning acquaints with starting stages of national program to strengthen economic diversification being implemented in the 9th five-year plan. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. Within the attention of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos to preserve continuation of growth rates in the country, citizens' living aspects, and continuation of efforts exerted in this regard, the Council of Ministers studied in its meeting a number of issues which it contributed in achieving these matters. The Council of Ministers confirmed to keep the same number of scholarship study seats allocated for graduates of General Diploma for the academic year 2016-2017 in various higher education institutions, government, private, inside the Sultanate, in addition to outside scholarships. Regarding higher education quality, the Council emphasized the necessity to strengthen active national programs by increasing scholarships in technical, technological, medical and industrial specializations, as well as to stimulate big private sector companies to contribute in external scholarships. It also urged concerned bodies to help youth to start their projects and facilitate finance procedures. In an implementation of road directives to give special attention to food security, a visual display was shown at the Council on work progress of main elements of food production in the Sultanate to strengthen self-sufficiency and segregated results of food commodities production after completion of the main investment projects. The Council valued views and recommendations it represented by the Shura Council. It also discussed two reports on food security in the Sultanate prepared by the international expertise houses, which indicated that the Sultanate is secured food-wise and stressed the importance of private sector role in plant, livestock and fisheries investments. Due to the importance of the livestock wealth sector, the Council of Ministers directed bodies concerned to the necessity of developing animal production, establishing complete central markets for animals, in addition to support for small and medium-sized enterprises in breeding animals, their transport and setting up value-added industries. The Council of Ministers emphasized to adopt necessary procedures towards monitoring services on foodstuff in borders, land, sea and air crossings of the Sultanate, and to speed up e-links among bodies concerned and border crossings to activate and facilitate procedures. The Council of Ministers confirmed the importance of strengthening the institutional capabilities of government units and to put up suitable policies in this regard. It also directed to continue to eliminate hindrances facing domestic and foreign investments and to raise level of competency of business environment. It also emphasized the importance to expand role of private sector in the national economy and in the added value projects. In the economic affairs, the Council of Ministers is following closely the precautionary measures adopted by all institutions of the state for sustainable economic situation, highly valuing efforts of the Council of Oman, financial and administrative state audit institution, academic bodies for studies, recommendations and proposals in this aspect. The Council praised citizens' understandings and their participation to achieve targeted goals of the current plan to reach to a safe, sustainable economic situation for the sake of Oman and its future generations. The Council of Ministers viewed a report by the National Committee to facilitate trade and transport and to enhance Sultan's place in trade exchange field. It approved preparation for a comprehensive study to plan commodity transport in the Sultanate, finding staged solutions for current transport problems by trucks, long-term solutions, and setting up database for this sector, urging the private sector to establish land transport companies. With regard to follow-up of e-government transformation and its priorities, the Council reviewed the executive position of the National Broadband Strategy, affirming the significance of continuation and integration of exerted efforts to speed up the spread of broadband network. The Council of Ministers viewed the future vision of education sector in the Sultanate and praised efforts exerted by the Council of Education and other concerned ministries and bodies for the outcome reached with regard to the future of education in the Sultanate. It also stressed the need of cooperation and integration among government bodies in its efforts to upgrade this sector, overcome its challenges, and contribute to the success of strategies and programs being prepared to develop it. Within this context, it was agreed that the Ministry of Education and in coordination with concerned bodies shall introduce military education programs in schools, increase the number of students who enter such programs and evaluate them. The Council reviewed the one-stop station project, Easy Invest, and the level reached by the system and directed all concerned government bodies to use this system, praising at the same time Easy Invest project and its winning of prize for the level of World Trade Organization. With regard to health field, the Council of Ministers approved the national policy document for the non-communicable disease prevention and watched a visual presentation on the study on prepared strategy on social health insurance to provide best health services through executive mechanisms that stimulate and encourage foreign investments, increase the returns of health sector, and find alternatives to develop and fund health services that suit all segments of the society. The Council of Ministers approved the general framework for Oman tourism strategy, aiming to enhance the Sultan's position as a pioneering and global example in the field of sustainable economic development field and make it on the path of being an excellent global guest destination. The Council also affirmed the significance that all states' establishments shall understand the nature of economic diversification fields, especially tourism, and encourage them and work for the success of these fields due to its positive impacts on trade and economy and on availing investment and job opportunities for all citizens. The Council also approved the application made by the Ministry of Heritage and Culture to register historical Kalhat city, a site on global heritage list due to its historical and strategical importance to be a globally open cultural park that enhances tourism and national economy. The Council of Ministers approved the formation of the committee to study Omani media challenges in the view of applicable legislative texts for organizing, developing and addressing obstacles facing it. The Council also agreed to establish a media training center and study the establishment of an electronic media center. It entrusted the Ministry of Information to set up suitable mechanisms to provide necessary support to media sector to enable it to undertake its role in the best way. The Council of Ministers approved that the concerned bodies shall cooperate with the Municipal Council with regard to the process of implementation of service projects in the wilayas, affirming the importance of these councils. The Council also reviewed a number of visions and proposals presented by the state and shura councils on economic and social aspects and took suitable steps with regard valuing the two councils' active contribution for the public interest. With regard to the meeting held by the Council of Ministers with officers of state and shura councils, His Highness Sayyid Fahad bin Mahmoud Al Said Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers praised the outcome of these meetings, which reflected the keenness of all to intensify consultation and exchange views of support comprehensive building march of the country. On the occasion of the blessed month of Ramadan, the Council of Ministers was honored to extend best greetings to His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, praying to Almighty to return this blessed occasion with great health, welfare and long life, dear Oman and its loyal people with further progress and prosperity in this prosperous era, and the Islamic nation with blessings and bounties. The Supreme Council for Planning got acquainted with the royal approval of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos to start the preparation of the national program for strengthening economic diversification. This came within the framework of implementing the 9th five-year plan through putting up an ambitious plan in cooperation with the International House of Expertise to follow up the performance, implementation and support for targeted sectors in the 9th five-year plan. These sectors include convertible industries, transport, logistics services, tourism, fisheries, wealth, mining, in addition to labor market and finance sectors. The Council also reviewed the situation of expenditure on development budget of the ministries and government units and the implementation of development projects and the obligation towards the determined expenditure ceiling for the current fiscal year 2016. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Dr. Ali bin Masood As-Sinaidi, Minister of Commerce and Industry, Deputy Chairman of the Supreme Council for Planning. Shura Council in its 19th ordinary session of a year discussed 124 articles at which there is disagreement between state and Shura Councils on draft of Omani penal law that was approved by the Shura Council in its 13th regular session. It also reviewed report of joint committee between the two councils and what it achieved, and urgent statement on Oman Air decision to cancel all flights temporarily to and from Sohar Airport. The statement showed that the decision has negative effects on the social and economic life and citizens in the governorates of North and South Baltina. At the end of the session, members of the Council agreed to forward articles of differences to voting at the joint session of Council of Oman, which is due to be held on coming Tuesday, the 21st of June 2016. The regular sessions was presided over by His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal Al-Mauli, Chairman of the Shura Council. The Sultan Qaboos Higher Center for Culture and Sciences, represented in the Office of Sultan Qaboos Award for Culture, Arts and Literature, announced that 4th of July will be the deadline for receiving the works participating in the 5th edition of the award for this year. The three fields of award include translation, Omani traditional arts and novel. The works of sorting and arbitration committee will start after the end of the period specified for choosing one winner for each field to be granted a medal for culture, arts and literature, in addition to a cash prize of 50,000 Omani Rials. The Sultan Qaboos Higher Center for Culture and Sciences will organize an official ceremony at the end of each year to honor the winners. The Minister of Manpower signed 2 agreements with Oman Ammunition Production Company to train and recruit 40 citizens with general diploma certificates. The training program lasts for 5 months, will start in July, and citizens will be sent to Pakistan to receive training in the field of producing ammunition and operating machines used to produce light bullets. The signing ceremony came to emphasize on the continuous cooperation between the ministry and the company. The ministry, through this agreement, aims to increase the percentage of Omanization in the private sector. The agreement was signed by His Excellency Sheikh Abdullah bin Nasser Al-Bakri, Minister of Manpower, while from the company it was signed by His Excellency Mohammed bin Nasser Al-Rasbi, Chairman of the Board of Directors. Here now are the Ramadan times for tomorrow. Fajr prayers will be at 3:53 a.m. Maghrib prayers at 7:01 p.m. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Council of Ministers confirms to keep the same number of scholarship seats allocated for graduates of General Diploma for the next academic year. The Council of Ministers emphasizes that the Sultanate is secured food-wise and approves the national policy documents for disease prevention. The Council of Ministers approved general framework for Omani tourism strategy. The Council of Ministers approves forming a committee to study challenges of Omani media, agrees to establish an information training center and a study to set up e-media center. And the Supreme Council for Planning acquaints with starting stages of national programs to strengthen economic diversification being implemented in the 9th five-year plan. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, good night.